This Friday didn't start off well from the very morning. The site was not ready for work, and the crew was sent home. So by 10 a.m., to his wife's surprise, Michael was already at home. She immediately attacked him with a statement. "You're just sitting in the kitchen drinking your cognac since you got an unplanned day off. No attempts to bother me, and besides, I'm packing my suitcase, and you're in my way. As a result, I'll forget something." Michael obediently retreated to the kitchen, thinking to himself about what kind of massive packing Olivia was doing for a 3-day business trip. He hadn't liked her behavior over the past 2 weeks. She had been staying late at work and spending a lot of time with her friend. All of it was an alarming signal for Michael. Olivia finished packing, and what surprised him was the lingerie she had packed, the kind she had never worn for him before. Michael walked into the hallway, took out his old work robe from the utility closet, a faded blue one that had been washed multiple times, grabbed a pair of orange latex gloves, which he usually used for unclogging the drain, and took everything out of Olivia's suitcase, replacing it with the items he had brought. He neatly packed everything and placed her business suit on top, after tearing off the sleeves, which he also put inside the suitcase. The suitcase was closed and placed back where it was. Having finished, Michael returned to the kitchen and poured himself some more cognac, thinking about what he would do next. An hour later, Olivia, dressed in a comfortable travel suit, wheeled her suitcase to the waiting taxi, waved to her husband, and said, "To the bus station, please." Michael watched as the taxi drove away, then picked up the landline phone and called the HR department at Olivia's workplace. A pleasant voice answered, "Hello? I'm calling as a client. I can't get in touch with your specialist that I'm working with." "Which one exactly?" "Olivia." "Oh, I'm sorry. She took 4 days off at her own expense and is currently not at the company. Maybe someone else can help you." "Only 4 days. That's not too long. I can wait." Ending the call, Michael began gathering his things. There weren't many, as he and Olivia hadn't lived together for long. He scolded himself, wondering why he had even bothered with a wedding. They could have just lived together without the hassle, and now he would have to go through a divorce. He decided for himself. No fights, no arguments with Olivia. There wasn't much to divide. The apartment was jointly owned, but they had no children, and the car belonged to him. Meanwhile, Olivia arrived at the bus station and boarded a minibus heading to the regional center. The journey would take about an hour and a half. As the minibus passed through the city, it stopped near a hotel where she had booked a room for 2. This was her first meeting with William, but she noted how well he had planned everything. She still didn't fully understand how William had managed to charm her. At the same time, Anthony Carter, William's father-in-law, was discussing the situation. "Everything is going just as I said." Olivia and William went to the regional center, booked a hotel room, but Olivia's husband figured it all out. "How did you find out?" "He called me today. Actually, he called the HR department pretending to be a client of our company, the one Olivia was supposed to be handling. As planned, I told him what we agreed upon." "Perfect. Prepare William's termination papers by Monday." "For what reason?" "Resignation." "And if he refuses?" "He won't. He has a wife and kids, and I have a daughter and grandchildren. I won't tolerate such a son-in-law." "He thought I'd be away on a business trip for another week, but when I arrived, he wasn't at work." "Find out his hotel room number for me. I think they'll be in the room around 6 p.m. The first thing they'll do is go to the restaurant. While they're getting dressed, I'll call him." I was just worried that her husband might interfere and ruin things. But do you think he really understood that she was cheating on him? Of course, he figured it out. That's why he called HR. Should we interfere? Number, let them sort it out themselves. By the way, what will you tell your daughter? I don't know yet. What's the office gossip about their affair? Do the girls know? Don't hope otherwise, they know everything. Today, that's all anyone is talking about. All right, I'm heading out. I won't be available today. Send me the hotel room number on my mobile. Meanwhile, Olivia arrived at the hotel and walked inside. William was already waiting for her at the reception. He grabbed her suitcase and they went up to their room. Once inside, he set the suitcase down and kissed her gently. She pulled away and said, "William, I'm not sure we're doing the right thing." "Olivia, we've been working closely together for 3 months. We've practically become close, and we deserve this little getaway. From work, from family, from our city. We just need to relax a little." What will your father-in-law say? He's your boss. Yes, but he doesn't need to know about our relationship. Olivia slipped out of his embrace, placed the suitcase on the bed and said, I'll change quickly. She opened the suitcase, took out the suit meant for a fancy dinner, and saw that the sleeves were torn off. Looking inside, she found Michael's blue work robe and the large orange latex gloves he used for unclogging drains. She understood everything. Staring at the suitcase's contents, Olivia collapsed into a chair and said, William, we're caught. Why do you think that? My husband replaced my clothes. Look at what he packed while I was in the shower. I hope he won't tell my wife or my father-in-law. I don't know. We need to call him. It's very likely he came home early on purpose today. Just then, the hotel phone rang. William picked it up and heard his father-in-law's voice. Good evening, William. Anthony Carter. What a surprise. Expecting someone else? No, I wasn't expecting any calls. Planning to go to the restaurant with Olivia? I'm alone and not going anywhere. Oh, so you ordered room service? Generous. Don't forget to tip the waiter. Also, don't rush home. You have nowhere to go. And you're fired. Today was your last working day. Your final paycheck has been transferred to your account. Olivia, listening to the conversation, quickly dialed her husband's number. Michael answered. Olivia, I'm listening. Did you settle in well? Is the room nice? Olivia burst into tears and started begging for forgiveness, claiming nothing had happened with William, that he meant nothing to her, that Michael was her whole life. She said she would leave immediately and return home, even though it would be late. Michael replied, Olivia, don't worry. Finish your business trip and enjoy it with William. Michael, it's not what you think. Olivia, before you start the usual excuses about how it was just a fling, that there was no love, don't bother. Don't say you want to talk and explain everything. Right now, I hate you as much as I once loved you. As long as I'm controlled by emotions, it's better if you don't come near me. And as for William, he'll need a miracle if I ever forgive you. Olivia sobbed even harder. Through her tears, she said, Michael, I'm coming home soon. The call ended with a dial tone. Michael already knew what he would do next. Meanwhile, as Olivia sat in the minibus crying over her lost life with Michael, she started receiving multiple calls from her father, mother, sister, and some friends. Not knowing what they wanted, she put her phone on silent mode. Then she decided to read the messages. Her younger sister, Kate, had forwarded Michael's message, which he had sent to all their friends, parents, and relatives. The message read, Dear friends, on the eve of the weekend, I discovered that my wife Olivia had planned to spend these days on a business trip with her boss William. Due to the difficulty of finding accommodation in the regional center, or maybe for the sake of economy, they booked one room for two. Of course, I contributed to their trip as well by packing Olivia's suitcase with my old work clothes, which I usually wear when fixing the plumbing, along with something that smells bad and stains. I also checked with the HR department about the business trip of this valuable specialist and was informed that Olivia had taken unpaid leave. I don't know how much her relatives were involved in her decision to spend the weekend together with William, but just in case, I am cutting off all contact with them. The reason is simple. Having suffered from betrayal, I am divorcing my wife. This letter serves as my official announcement of my upcoming divorce from Olivia. Sincerely, Michael. Below the message was a note from Kate. Olivia, are you stupid? After reading just this one message, Olivia slumped into her seat, feeling cold. She turned to William and said, We really messed up. William exhaled sharply. Interesting. How did your husband find out? And more importantly, how did my father-in-law find out? I think Michael will never forgive me again. Did you have any previous trouble? Olivia hesitated and then admitted, Once. We attended a corporate party for our company. Michael had warned me not to wander off too far because he didn't know anyone there. Unfortunately, that's just my nature. Whenever there's a party, I have to talk to everyone, discuss something, mingle. That time was no different. We sat down at the table, had drinks, had some food, and then the dancing started. One of our colleagues invited me to dance. I accepted. After the dance ended, instead of returning to the table, we stood there chatting. Another song played, a white dance, and I had the bright idea of inviting the same colleague to dance again. When the break came, I was still talking to him and then to another co-worker. When I finally returned to our table, my purse was lying open on the table. I opened it to get my lipstick and found a cloakroom ticket inside. But I clearly remembered that Michael had kept it. I managed to make peace with him only 6 months later. Michael, knowing that Olivia was now doing everything in her power to rush back home, went into his room and locked the door with a latch so that no one could enter. Then he went to the store, bought some sausage, cheese, and 2 bottles of cognac. As he paid at the register, his phone rang. He glanced at the screen. It was Kate, Olivia's younger sister. She had been aware of the strained relations between Michael and Olivia in the past. Back then, he had wanted to divorce her, but Kate had convinced him not to. "Kate, I'm listening." "Michael, I'm worried about you. Olivia just called me. I told her to come to my place instead. You probably don't want to see her right now." "No, I don't, and I won't. I've already got a couple of bottles of cognac. Will you mind some company?" "Come over. Olivia's room is free. Just promise me, no lectures." "Agreed, and you were right all along. Just don't start without me. I know how you drink. No snacks, straight shots. Should I get 3 bottles?" "Maybe. We'll see." About 40 minutes later, Michael was home. He set the table in his room and thought, what if Kate brings Olivia with her? He had been on edge all day, and although he trusted Kate to keep Olivia away, he still had doubts. After all, last time, Kate was the one who convinced them to reconcile. Back then, during the corporate party, Olivia had gotten too caught up in dancing and the attention of other co-workers, completely ignoring Michael. Feeling like an outsider, he had simply left. For 6 months, they lived in separate rooms until Kate intervened. Even then, Michael had told her, "You don't understand. I'm her husband, yet she ignored me like I was invisible. That's blatant disrespect. Where there is no respect, there is no love. Where there is no love, there is no family. So why should I maintain this fake marriage?" Kate had tried to justify Olivia's behavior back then, saying she was just a young woman who enjoyed socializing. But now with this latest betrayal, there was nothing left to justify. Michael opened a bottle, poured himself half a glass, and had just taken a sip when he heard the front door open. Curious, he looked out. It was Kate. "What? Couldn't wait?" she asked with a smirk. "I wasn't late. I waited until my foolish sister arrived, took her keys, and here I am. Come in, it's already poured. Why not in the kitchen? So I don't have to crawl to the bedroom afterward." Kate took off her shoes and walked into Michael's room, sat down at the table, looked at him, and said, "Well, you've set a decent table, but the snacks aren't quite right. You know, in good company, cognac isn't meant to be paired with anything." "That's not true. The best pairings for cognac are hard cheese, dark chocolate, caviar, fruits, and lean meat. A traditional cognac snack is a lemon with sugar or without. There's a lemon in the fridge. Drink up and I'll bring it later." They drank. Kate noticed with surprise that Michael was completely calm. "Why are you so composed?" she asked. "Kate, you know Olivia once showed blatant disrespect towards me. It was only logical to assume that her next step in our marriage would be cheating." "So you spied on her?" "No, I just waited for it to happen. And it did." "How did you know she was planning to cheat?" "It was simple. I never believed anything she said. And then today, a sudden business trip on a Friday. I won't lie, I called HR, and they told me she had taken unpaid leave. What else was I supposed to do?" "Pour me a drink." "What will you do next?" "I don't know, but let's drink." Kate poured herself a smaller portion. "The snacks are on the table. Eat up," she said. They drank. Then Kate decisively said, "Look, you handle your problems with Olivia yourself. I don't want to get involved, but you never told me why you're still single." "Because I never found someone like you." "You mean someone rich?" "Michael, it's not about money. I need to love someone." "See? Love. Olivia never loved me. She married me because I was a decent man with a good salary. But she never valued or respected me as a husband. That's why she was drawn to someone else." The phone rang. Michael expected it to be Olivia, but it was an old friend who had come to town with his wife to visit his mother-in-law. He greeted Michael cheerfully and said, "Hey, Michael, come over with your wife. I'm staying at my mother-in-law's. I need to finally meet your wife. No excuses." "Victor, I'll be there in 40 minutes. What should I bring?" Just beer for the barbecue, a whole bucket. Got it. Michael ended the call and looked at Kate. All right, you're playing the role of my wife tonight. We're going to visit my friend and I'll call you Olivia. Why? You'll be Kate, as always. And how long will we be there? Until around 8 in the evening. And what do I tell Olivia? Just say I left somewhere and you're going on a date. You'll be back late. And Olivia might come here? She doesn't have the keys anymore. So you're really not going to see her? No. All right then, let's go. Kate smirked and said, Fine, but first take a shower and shave. You can't go visiting like this. Michael went to the bathroom, cleaned up quickly, grabbed a bottle of cognac and a 5-liter plastic canister he usually used to buy beer. They called a taxi and first stopped at a beer bar, known for its excellent draft beer for regulars. The bar was near Kate's home, so while Michael sorted out the drinks, Kate went to deliver Olivia's keys. When she returned to the car, she looked upset. She's miserable, she said. Right now, she's calling a taxi to go home. Did she ask anything about me? You know what? She didn't even ask where you were going. And you? Did you make it look like you had plans? I just grabbed my jacket and told her I'd be back late. As planned, Michael and Kate arrived at Victor's 2-story countryside house 40 minutes later. They walked inside and were greeted by Victor and his guests. The backyard had a grill where barbecue was already cooking. Nearby, a large table was set up, and Victor introduced Michael and Kate to the group, including his wife Anna. They sat down, were served freshly grilled meat with vegetables and ketchup, and drinks were poured. Meanwhile, Olivia arrived home, dragged her suitcase inside, and saw that Michael wasn't there. She had no idea where he could have gone. She changed into home clothes, made herself a quick meal, ate in silence, then walked to the bedroom. The bed was neatly made. She sat down on it and started thinking. Tomorrow was another day off, and on Monday she had to go to work. What would happen there? She had no idea, but she knew it wouldn't be good. Meanwhile, Michael and Kate got comfortable at Victor's house, enjoying the company. They drank a little too much, and since it was late, they were offered a guest room with one bed. In the morning, they woke up in each other's arms. Kate looked at Michael and asked, I hope nothing happened between us? I'm not sure. I don't believe you. We didn't even undress. Still, before sunrise, there's always time. You have a husband. You mean you? Who else? And what about Olivia? Kate, Olivia doesn't exist for me anymore. But let me be clear. If you start acting like her, I'll leave you too. Is that a proposal? Are you against it? It's strange. We're lying in the same bed holding each other. I need to think about it. You're complicated, Michael. And after what Olivia did, you won't trust women easily. And without trust, how do we live? And without love? Michael, I've loved you since I first met you. But my sister is still your wife. For today, she is still your wife. That depends on how things go. If Olivia agrees to a divorce, we'll handle it through the registry office quickly. Then we can file our own papers. Why the rush? Do you want to get married right away? Don't you? Michael, you don't love me. You're doing this out of spite for Olivia. That's what you think now? Fine. Let's date for a while and see if we really have feelings for each other. Are you okay with that? I am. But we won't be intimate. And we need to tell Olivia. Why? If we hide it from her, how are we any different from what she did? All right, sleep now. It's Sunday. We'll talk to Olivia. Olivia was sitting in the kitchen when the front door opened in the afternoon. Michael walked in with Kate. Olivia was stunned to see her sister with him. Kate spoke first. I was with Michael at a gathering. We stayed there overnight. Michael proposed to me, but I haven't given him an answer yet. Olivia gasped. What about me? Olivia, there's nothing between us anymore, Michael said coldly. I suggest we swap apartments. You move in with Kate, she moves in here with me, and we'll go our separate ways. One more thing, I suggest we finalize our divorce through the registry office. Are you serious? Yes, I am. I don't love you, and you don't love me. Let's stop torturing each other. Monday brought Olivia even more anxiety. Despite her reputation as a good specialist, she was demoted due to an error in calculations. Anthony Carter said nothing about her business trip. Williams showed up at the office, but only long enough to sign for his termination papers. After lunch, Olivia called Kate and asked, "When are we switching apartments?" "I'll talk to Michael, but you two need to settle the divorce first." "I agree." In the end, Michael and Olivia divorced through the registry office. Olivia ceded the car to Michael. She moved into Kate's apartment, while Kate moved into Olivia's. The first thing Kate did was install a new lock on her bedroom door. "We'll live under one roof, but in separate rooms," she told Michael. "I need to be sure about your feelings. Just because I love you isn't enough." However, a year and a half later, she gave birth to a baby boy. Over time, Olivia started dating a man her age, and they developed a serious relationship. William found a job as a manager at a shopping center, renting a room from his former secretary. He shared her bed, but when he proposed marriage, she declined. "I believe civil unions are more reliable," she told him. And so, the story ends. But one question lingers in my mind. What was Olivia thinking when she went to that hotel with William? I believe Michael did the right thing by not forgiving her and divorcing her. What do you think? Let me know in the comments.